Hey Prashant, how's it going?
Oh, hi. How are you?
All good, all good. Good to see you.
See you.
Hi. So, can I have a juice or something to start off with? Yeah. Hi, and welcome back to Uninvited. We're at 8 at Phoenix in Parel. And this is a new restaurant. It's a Pan-Asian restaurant. And this is going to be a whole floor actually. It's part of that. It's going to be World of Craft, and there are going to be many restaurants. And I'm here this evening with Prashant Issar, who is the CEO of Bellona Hospitality, which runs 8. Prashant, this is a lovely space. Thank you for having us. Now, I was here a couple of days ago and I had a meal, and I had a couple of thoughts about what I ate and what I drank. And since we're sitting at the bar, let me just start with that.
Sure.
So we had a couple of mocktails. I think one was berry, one was wasabi, and I think the other was something lady. I can't remember what it was exactly. But my sense of the cocktails was that they were really out of balance. I know we sent back the berry because I think it was with mulberry and gin, and it was or raspberry, and it was just way too sweet. We just couldn't handle it at all. The one that I had, I think, was the old lady. I can't remember what the name exactly is. But that was nice. But what was happening is, because it was missing balance, the spirit, the alcohol was really hitting you on the palate. And the third one that we had, the wasabi, was actually quite nice. But again, a little too sweet. But once we added a bit of lime juice, that was great. The other thing I noticed was with the service staff. I asked my server, I ordered the hamachi nigiri, and I asked him where the hamachi had come from, and he did the right thing, which was, he said, I don't know. And I really like that, and I appreciate it when servers say, we don't know, let me go to the kitchen and find out, and he did, except the kitchen gave him the wrong information and told him that it had come from Norway.
Okay.
So I think these are a couple of things that perhaps you might want to look at, going forward before the restaurant kind of really takes off.
Totally agree, Antoine. It's important. Let's start with the hamachi really. And it's important that provenance is very clearly put. I've always tried to make sure that we have the right provenance, and at times it goes amiss. But I think training has to be proper. We do a lot of chef to staff briefings of late, because the food is very classical, at times eclectic. And the chef has a lot of his own signature on our food. So I think training obviously was a miss, and that is what we're working on, so hopefully that'll get better. With regards to the cocktail, I also have felt that at times our cocktails tend to be overtly sweet.
Yeah.
We are trying our best to try not to add any sweetener to most of our cocktails.
We can talk a little bit more about the food, and I think we'll get Chef Sagar. I guess he's the food here. Get him to join us, and I think we can move to a table and have a long conversation on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Please.
So we're with Chef Sagar, who kind of looks after all the food at 8. And Chef, you're just back from Monaco, from Sonki, where you're working at Alain Yao's restaurant. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I had actually a couple of questions about my meal, just following with the hamachi that we were talking about earlier. Now, I remember the hamachi nigiri that we had ordered, and I was just wondering if it's a flaw when the nigiri piece has cuts in it. Shouldn't it be one uniform piece?
Yes.
It should be.
It should
right? So that was a bit of a mistake in what I was served.
Yes.
Okay.
So some place they burn also.
Yeah.
They burn, they cut, they draw something. So मैं यहाँ पर बेसिकली जस्ट प्लेन देना चाह रहा था।
But when you आप सर्व करते हैं तो एक ही स्लाइस होना चाहिए।
एक ही स्लाइस।
पर बीच में टुकड़ा नहीं होना चाहिए।
टुकड़ा नहीं होना चाहिए।
Okay. There are many dishes that I really liked, and one of the things that stood out for me was the lotus root roll, where You use the lotus root, you folded it over and into the roll, and you had a stuffing of king mushrooms and asparagus. I thought that was absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
The lamb curry was something I really enjoyed. I think you make the paste fresh, right?
Yes,
You don't
fresh.
have any
No.
ready-made paste for that.
In-house.
In-house.
Yeah.
All from scratch.
Yes.
Okay. One thing that I did have a question about was the prawn hargao.
Yes, sir.
Now the hargao, traditionally and wherever I've eaten it, is in this beautiful translucent pouch with the frills and all that.
Crystal.
Sorry?
It's called crystal.
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 That's right. But you do it completely different over here. You do it with this kind of this tiger skin covering, if that's what I might call it.
Basically, hargao means is Cantonesely crystal prawn dumpling.
Right?
तो मैं चाह रहा था जो कुछ अपग्रेडिंग करूँ यहाँ पर, अपग्रेड डिमसम कोई भी शेप दे सकता है, तो मैंने सोचा जो समथिंग डिफरेंट दिया जाए, जो एक्साइटमेंट हो, क्योंकि पिछले 10 साल से मैं वही हारगाव देख रहा हूँ हर एक जगह पे, कोई चेंजेस नहीं है, तो इसकी वजह से मैंने 8 जो है 8 मेरे लिए बहुत क्लोज है, और इसकी वजह से मैंने हारगाव को थोड़ा डिफरेंट शेप में दिया एंड looking exciting, everyone excited.
Okay. Brinjal dish that you did with the mains.
Tofu.
Yeah, the tofu.
As a clay pot.
A clay pot dish, yeah. And I thought that was actually quite nice. It was quite balanced. It was, for a vegetarian dish, I thought it was actually quite meaty. So can you tell me a little bit about how you came up with this and why it's on the menu?
Menu, when we make chef sir, Prashant sir के साथ बैठ के, तो जो जैन गेस्ट है, जो वेगन गेस्ट है, वो लोग के लिए हम लोग को थोड़ा डिसाइड किया था, ये लोग के लिए भी कुछ रखे मेन मेन्यू पे, तो उसके लिए टोफू एंड ब्रिंजल का एक डिश लेके आया, और उसमें थोड़ा पंजी फ्रेगनेंस ब्लैक बीन रहे, थोड़ा स्वीट रहे और थोड़ा स्पाइसी रहे तो व्यंजन का, तो वो सोच के हमने बनाया था इसको क्ले पॉट में.
Okay.
What we also wanted to do, see, aubergine is a totally love or hate vegetable.
Right.
But especially with Oriental cooking, the fleshiness and the meatiness of aubergine actually works very well. And that is what we had in mind as well. Now, what he's saying about Jain and vegetarian guests, and we firmly believe that India has 1.4 billion vegetarians, some of whom also eat meat.
Right.
And there are 2 or 3 aubergine dishes that we have. What is a dish all about? A dish is all about aroma, about how it hits the eye before it hits the nose in terms of the aroma, so how it looks, the colors, and about textures. And I think in that dish there is a variety of textures.
Right.
So we wanted to, and for our entire menu, chef has been thinking about hanger appeal.
About?
Hanger appeal, how it reads on the menu.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Hanger appeal, how it reads on the menu, how it looks, the eye appeal, nose appeal, and your palate.
The other dish that actually came to mind was your the 8 house uramaki, and I think a lot of what you were talking about is actually manifests in that. Both with the hamachi and with this one, you've used the blue pea stained rice, which I thought was quite interesting. It's very unconventional and something very new. But with the 8 house, it was all the vegetable stuffing. It's all very crisp, and so you have this lovely. You've got color in it.
Yes.
You've got a lot of texture, and you've got something novel that's happening. Something that I think stands out at 8 from other restaurants.
Totally. In fact, that's also the reason that we did the hargao the way we did it, because hargao has been done by every restaurant in the same way, to the extent that it is so classical, no one wants to touch it, that it becomes boring.
There was one dish which I think did not work at all, and I don't think that's really chef's department. I think that's a pastry chef's kind of area, and that was the yuzu tart.
Yeah.
So I thought the yuzu lemon curd was great, but the pastry underneath, and you've got a meringue topping, a hard meringue topping on top. I think the textures kind of contrast with each other very badly, and that the tart actually is really difficult to cut through, and the meringue is really hard. So at the table, you're really struggling to get a spoonful of each bite from that tart.
I agree. In fact, I've myself experienced that. And when I had asked the chef tried to use, chef used almond powder instead of regular flour. And I remember having joked at the time that this could have been Oops, I Dropped the Lemon Tart by Massimo Bottura. And I think if that would have happened, the tart would have broken. But I totally agree. We have actually discussed this internally also. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So she wanted to make it healthy, but there is no point doing it, as we've discussed, unless you can achieve the same level of finesse and quality that the dish would have had otherwise. And I think we would have or will improve it.
Right. No, so that's great, Prashant and Chef Sagar. Thank you for your explanations. I'm not sure I am completely convinced about the Hargao, but I think that is an interpretation, and that's fabulous. That I think is what makes each restaurant unique, and that's what makes food so different and wonderful. That each chef brings his own interpretation to a dish. Thank you everyone for watching Uninvited. We'll catch up with you soon at the next restaurant we cover.